Hi, I'm David Scranton, and thank you for clicking this video because today we're going to cover what you need to know about estate planning. And now it's time to bring in today's guest to help us. First, we have Jeff Small, president of Arbor Financial Services, a retirement income store located in Melbourne, Florida. And Jeff, I know you're fired up today because you said, Dave, for next week, I want you to get a guest who's a TV star on PBS. And did I deliver or not?
I think so, but I'm here too, Dave, so I got some clout as well.
Absolutely. So now it's time to bring in our television star from PBS, and that's today's special guest, Ed Slott. He's an author, public speaker, and yes, a television host. He's been called the best source for IRA advice, as well as America's IRA expert. Ed, it's great to have you here again on the Income Generation.
Great to be back with you guys. Yep.
Ed, we know that a good financial plan can be wrecked by a poor estate plan, but the two often cross-pollinate with each other because of taxes. And so where are the glaring holes and what should consumers be concerned about when it comes to taxes, like in IRAs, Ed, your wheelhouse, and estate planning?
Well, I think the big problem is people have not paid attention to estate planning because we have these huge exemptions. $12 million a person, $24 million a couple. So most people think, oh, good. They tune out about estate planning. It doesn't affect me. Yes, you may not pay estate tax, but that's a different tax than income tax. Income tax, you and your beneficiaries will pay if you have, just like you said, an IRA, a 401k. Never forget that money has not yet been taxed, and your IRA money is included in your estate. Even if your estate is not large enough to be subject to estate tax, the income tax will still have to be paid. And now, after the Secure Act, your beneficiaries may end up paying a lot of that in a shorter time frame, like a 10-year rule. And we even had new rules come out a few weeks ago where beneficiaries may be shocked to know that some of them may have to start taking money out as early as the year after death.
So, it's great. You highlighted one of the biggest misconceptions I think about estate planning is most folks think that, well, estate planning is only for the rich. I'm not rich. I don't need an estate plan. And obviously that's incorrect. But what are some of the biggest drawbacks? I know you mentioned one, the income tax part of death. But give us some other major drawbacks for those who die before they have an estate plan.
Right. Well, part of it is, again, like I said, some of the reasons people don't pay it any attention because of the large exemption. The other reason is that you got to remember there's two different kinds of assets or money people have. IRA money and 401k, tax deferred money, and your regular, maybe a bank, broker, investment accounts. Let's say you have a stock account. That gets a step up in basis. So your heirs will not pay any of the income tax on the appreciation during your lifetime. But that's not true. Once again, IRAs are heavily taxed assets. That's why they're not good assets to use for wealth transfer or estate planning. They never get a step up in basis.
Yeah,
so
not good assets, not good assets to die with, right, Jeff?
No.
They're terrible assets to die with. And I think when we look at estate planning, we don't want the government to be our partner. And so, Ed, what would you tell our viewers and our listeners today on what they should do to pass tax-free assets on instead of taxable? Because the Secure Act made it even more taxable because now they've got to pay out those IRAs and 401ks to non-spousal beneficiaries over 10 years. So what would you say to our viewers and listeners?
You're right. Secure Act made IRAs even they downgraded IRAs as an estate planning vehicle by eliminating the stretch IRA. People were okay with that, the so-called stretch IRA, because they knew their beneficiaries could defer the tax taking small distributions for 10, 20, 30, 50 years. Not anymore. So Congress purposely made IRAs a lousy estate planning or wealth transfer vehicle. They felt in the Secure Act that IRAs and your retirement accounts should only be for you, not your inheritors. So they made the taxes a lot more cumbersome for your beneficiaries. So what do? Well, Roth conversions can help because at least you have the same 10-year rule, but at least it will be tax-free. And when I say tax-free, again, not estate tax-free, income tax-free. The Roths will be both actually estate and income tax-free if your estate is under that limit. And another option, which I write about in my book, you might have noticed a couple of copies laying around, is the power of life insurance. Now, I do not sell life insurance, but to me, indirectly, Congress upgraded the value of using, and I'm talking about permanent cash value life insurance, instead of leaving IRAs, maybe take some of that down at today's low rock bottom rate. Same thing with a Roth conversion, maybe a super Roth conversion where you use it to fund a life insurance policy that can give you lifetime benefits, say a long-term care rider. I have that for myself. And then you have the big tax-free payout, income tax-free payout for your beneficiaries. It may turn out to be better planning than you had with the stretch IRA. All I think Congress did is shoot themselves in the foot. All they did is wake us up, incentivize us, and motivate us to do the better planning with life insurance that we probably should have been doing all along. Life insurance has now, in my opinion, moved to the top of the list as the wealth transfer and estate planning vehicle.
Sure. I mean, tax-free death benefit's always been the case, and that's one of the things that they'll probably never change. But one of the things that I worry about them changing, and it's been batted around Congress, and when I talked to you about a year ago, you said, I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to see if your opinion's changed. Because dead people don't vote. So here, it's the easiest place to raise taxes. So what I'm referring to is if they hurt the tax haven of the IRA as a beneficiary-driven tool, then who's to say they're not going to get rid of the step-up in basis?
That'll never happen. I stand by. By the way, I said that as they were plotting to do that on your program, if you remember. And I said that'll never happen. The step up in basis has been in law for over 100 years. It was 100 years old last year in 2021.
Okay, but Ed, playing devil's advocate, how long have people been able to stretch out IRAs as beneficiaries? Pretty much as long as IRAs have existed. Am I wrong?
Right, but there was not the constituency before. Remember, if they mess around with step up in basis, and they found it when they tried to do it just a few months ago in some of the proposals, they realized it was hurting a lot of unintended targets, like homeowners that have, especially now in this real estate market, that have these huge gains, but it's just really inflation and appreciation, and small business owners where they have all their money tied up in property, plant, equipment, all these things. It was falling on all the wrong targets. And that was the same thing that happened. So again, I stand by what I said. They'll never touch the step up in basis. It affects too many people and too many congressmen.
You know, it's funny with my only fear, Ed, my only fear is with the deficit where it is, the national debt where it is, I think eventually they're going to have to do something, but you're probably right that it may not happen during our lifetime.
It won't be on the step up in basis. They will raise income taxes again, which makes IRAs and 401ks, anything tax deferred, a lousy planning asset, subject to the uncertainties of future higher taxes. Remember, Congress knows we made that deal. That's why that could be changed. That was our deal with the devil. We took all these deductions up front, knowing there would be payback, as with any deal with the devil. So we already signed up for that plan. So the IRAs are the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, well, don't make a deal with the devil. Good advice for sure. Jeff, Ed Slott, thanks so much for being here with us on the Income Generation.
Great,
Great
thanks.
to be here.
Thank you for watching today's video, 10 Common Mistakes About Estate Planning. If you enjoyed it, please click the thumbs up button to give us a like, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for new content each and every week.